My name is Diya, and my practice centers around my desire to understand the meaning of home and its role in the creation of one's sense of self. I create films using video and audio recordings I capture on a day-to-day basis, along with archival films and images in the pursuit of forging feelings of longing and contemplation. Here's how I created my final year degree show. I have an oscillating relationship with different homes in my life. As an Indian citizen who grew up in the UAE and now lives in the UK, when I lived in Dubai, I called India my home, and now I live in the UK calling Dubai my home. Is it all transitory then? More intriguingly, is it my evolving sense of self that is changing what I view as my home, or is my dispersed home scattering my notion of self? These are the questions I'm asking through my films. Having mined this conceptual grounding through my dissertation last semester, I came into my final semester knowing well the themes I want to explore. But how do I explore these concepts? What medium do I use? From the experimentation I had done so far, I knew that moving image would play a major part. However, I wanted to populate my space with other things too. Over the last 3 years of my fine art degree, I had tried everything from sculpture to photography, painting, printing, and embroidery. I figured my degree show should have everything, right? From the feedback I received from tutors and others I showed my videos to, I realized that film alone is powerful. Moreover, I discovered that I was able to convey my thoughts and emotionally affect my audience through this medium better than any other. And lastly, making these films was fulfilling to me. So film it is then. All I needed to do now was make it. I have often made video and audio recordings of seemingly random things that happen around me. And especially over this last semester, I developed a regular practice of observing and recording my environments. This includes everything from nature to snippets of conversations, pieces of music, significant places, and insignificant things. Anything that catches my attention. These become the pieces that I can weave into a narrative on the edit table. It is only at the editing stage that I find aesthetic, thematic, and emotional links between these visuals and audios, thereby forming groups that become threads to interweave. One of the first threads I found was karaoke. One night, I woke up at 1 a.m. to a bunch of people singing songs in the local pub outside my house. So of course I recorded it. This led into the first connection. I had some recordings of me and my father singing songs as well. So this became a link between the past and present, there and here. This section was interlaced with a thread of Loughborough visuals and footage of a 5-year-old me pretending to dance at a party. Then formed a Dubai thread that unfurled into a turbulent departure and more. Finally, a meditative humming that tied it all together. This became Choir of Selves, a 9-minute film that contemplated belonging and longing for different homes. But in the making of this film, there were many ideas and audio-visual combinations that were left behind. Some of these threads were too exciting to not pick up again. So began my second film. There were 50-odd driving and flying videos I had recorded in the UAE, UK, and India, and all the video calls I recorded of myself talking to my parents and my grandparents. The music from Leicester Cathedral, these photographs of my family that I found last year was just waiting to be braided into a narrative. This old New Year's celebration video where I sound like a baby raccoon. Oh, and this song. Not only does it fit the themes, but also nostalgia. This could all come together to form a great companion to Choir of Selves, which solely focused on the peace in not having a definitive home. But this kind of nomadic life can be confusing, yet fun, annoying with technicalities, and exciting with opportunities. I was itching to dive into all of these. So I splashed all of it onto the same canvas and hoped for the best. It didn't land. The 7-minute film I ended up making didn't have anything that tied it all together. It was not one narrative, but two, three. But I had even come up with a great title, Antara, which meant both a verse of a song and distance. Perfect, isn't it? The week before the degree show, I had to decide that this film needs more time to come together seamlessly. And I can't actually show it. Yet. But we have one solid film, and there's a show to put up. So let's get on with it. I found early on in the semester that projection had the best effect, going bigger and having a softness to the visuals that I liked. I wanted to project onto a screen that was suspended from above, something that could move. One of the first trials was onto this extremely thin paper. Why? Simply because I had a bunch of it in the studio. But this paper allowed for back projection, and the crumbling had a beautiful effect. It was a happy accident. But I still experimented. I tried various types of cloth. The film projected right through these to the walls, which was interesting, but not very neat. So eventually, by the time the degree show came around, I knew that the best option was the first. The free suspension creates constant movement, and the crumble texture lends an ephemerality to the film to further amplify the stream of consciousness aesthetic. And the back projection lets the projector be hidden behind, and everything just looks neat. Lastly, the rope and pegs used to hang it all brings a sense of domesticity to the work. After the nerve-wrackingly random process of getting a space and coordinating with everyone in the area to get the most appropriate spot, there were a lot of tiny, big things to decide. Number 1, 9 minutes is a long time, so I had to find benches so that viewers can be seated. Number 2, should those speakers be on the floor or on top near the ceiling like they were in the space I used for all my trials? Down, because up is not really feasible. Number 3, should the title be printed? Yes, with a timestamp. Number 4, 3 weeks spent arguing about whether or not to paint the space a darker color. What color? Will I have time to paint it back to white after the show? Is it even going to make that much of a difference? Not really, so no painting. Number 5, can I get all the equipment from the uni or should I buy it? I can get most, except the extension cable. So number 6, buy the extension cable. Number 7, get it back tested. Get everything else back tested. Upload content on the website, design postcards, blah blah blah, blah blah, blah blah. All culminating in painting white walls white and doing 10 coats over stains that probably no one would notice because this is a dark space. But then comes the moment of truth. See you there. I can't wait.